Hello, everyone, and welcome to Senior College Night. Here at Revere High School, we understand that not every person is going to follow the same education path. Tonight, we will have presentations created by some of our former students. These students have graduated from Revere High School over the past few years. They all have different paths they took to become successful. Some of them joined the military straight from high school. Some of them went straight to college from high school and took the recommended path. Some were teen moms, and some joined the workforce right away. All of these former students have one thing in common, which is that they found success, even if it didn't happen right away. And now, without further ado, I'd like to begin with the presentation of Samantha Salvo, who graduated with the class of 2009.
Hi everyone, I am Samantha Salvo. Though when I walked through the halls of Revere High School like all of you, I was Samantha Watson and I remember sitting in those same seats not too long ago. I was always a good student. I always loved learning and was a bit of a nerd, even in my younger years. I even tested out of first grade and was promoted to second grade instead. Fast forward to high school, and I was still in love with learning. I read books all the time. I had great grades. I even was invited to attend the National Student Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. for journalism. All of these things considered, I'm sure you were all expecting me to be one of the students that your dean just mentioned, the one that went straight to college and did great. But spoiler alert, I wasn't. Sometimes life throws curveballs, and you have to roll with the punches. At some point in your lives, difficult choices are going to come up. Heck, you may have even dealt with them already. My senior year, I started to be faced with those choices. My grandmother was sick, dying of stage 4 lung cancer. My autistic brother was 4 at the time, and as my mother was my grandmother's primary caregiver, I took over caring for my brother essentially full time while still keeping up with all of the work and activities senior year of high school brings. I graduated in June of 2009 at the age of 16. I had a full ride to University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and I had full intentions of going. That is, until my grandmother took a turn for the worse, with only a week until I was supposed to move into college. That was when I made the most difficult and life-changing choice. I decided to forfeit my tuition and my schooling. I stayed home to help family. To this day, I don't regret it. I was supposed to do things that way. Family life kept changing, and with that, school kept being pushed back further and further. As the changes continued, so did our bills, and Massachusetts just was not a place my family could afford anymore. Of course, this was also happening as I was falling in love with my now husband. But he was a keeper. And how do I know that? Because after only a year of being together, he packed up and left his family and moved with mine across the country to Florida. I had always loved Disney World, and working there was my dream. And I made that dream come true. I worked at Disney for quite a few years, only leaving recently as I couldn't maintain enough hours to remain employed there. Of course, as school started to become a thought in my mind again, I found out I was expecting my son Vincent, and I needed to work to support our family. So school went back to the back burner. I did everything I could to financially take care of my son, and at one point, finances were bad, and some things happened with my health. In the end, my family and I made a decision together that me going back to school was the best thing I could do financially for my son and my, at the time, fiance. I enrolled at Valencia College with the goal of becoming an elementary school teacher. I managed taking 5 classes a week on top of seasonally keeping my job and taking care of my son, who was only 2 years old when I began at Valencia. In my first semester at Valencia, we were required to take a class called New Student Experience. I'll be honest, I never was thrilled with having to take this class as a graduation requirement, but I still learned plenty in this class. We talked about basic life skills like time management. We discussed our themes. In case you're wondering, themes are basically strengths that you have naturally within you. My top 5 themes were learner, strategic, intellection, analytical, and restorative. Learner was my number 1. Being excited by the concept of learning, I guess that explains my being a nerd in younger years. We also had to create a purpose statement. It was basically a mission statement for ourselves. Our themes led us to these statements, which in turn should help lead us to our careers. My personal purpose statement was to learn all I can and organize it all through strategic methods to present the information to others the best way I possibly can and assist in solving problems. This statement directly led me to my chosen career as an educator, as presenting the information to others is teaching. The new student experience class made sure that we knew all of our resources to help us achieve that purpose we created for ourselves. I used the Math Depot frequently as I enjoyed being surrounded by my favorite subject, and I always checked in with the advisors in the advising center before selecting classes for the following semester. We also were able to connect with and interview people who were working in our desired career field. In that interview, I learned two very important things. One, you must have a passion for teaching to be a teacher. And two, you are constantly learning in this career, and you may actually learn more from the students than they will from you. After learning all of these things from the new student experience class, I was set for finishing up all of my schooling. I graduated from Valencia with an Associate's in Arts in General Studies following the transfer plan of elementary education. From there, I transferred to University of Central Florida and graduated from there with a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. These degrees obviously directly relate to my themes and purpose of educating. I also had to take a state licensing exam to become a teacher as well as do a student teaching internship. This job is definitely as rewarding as I hoped it was. I love being surrounded by children all day, being able to set a foundation for these children to build on for the rest of their lives. You have to be able to be an independent and group worker. You need to be able to public speak and be social. You need to be firm yet kind and understanding. You need to have enough love in your heart to share with all of these students. Now, in order for me to be a successful teacher like I am, it cost a lot. It cost me time, energy, headaches, and money. I was able to pay for a good portion of my schooling with grants, and I have applied for every scholarship I was qualified to apply for. That took almost as much time as my classwork did. I did take some loans out, and I even took a bit more than I needed as I wanted to make sure I had a financial cushion and didn't leave my family penniless in case a computer broke or I needed expensive material I didn't previously have. With all of that in mind, I hope you all learned some important things from my presentation today, such as have a passion for what you do, financially prepare yourself, be ready to sacrifice time and energy because you'll be so emotionally rewarded after you accomplish your goals.
Thank you, Samantha, for your presentation today. You certainly were able to teach us a lot about a way of achieving success without following the typical path. Up next, we have Victoria Wellman, who graduated with Samantha and is currently working with the Army.